Hey folks, welcome you all to a new video. This is CA Ganesh Bharadwaj. So in this video, I am going to share with you guys the strategy that you can follow the day before your paper 6 FM and SM exam of your CA intermediate, which is the last paper, right? So in this video, we are going to talk about the strategy that you can follow for paper 6A FM component, which is for 50 marks. Clear with this, guys, right? So now this video is we have three parts in this video. The first part, I will quickly be walking you through regarding the exam paper pattern, right, of the FM component. So I have made a separate video with respect to the exam paper pattern before. So anyways, for the benefit of everyone, I will just quickly walk you through the exam paper pattern, number one. The second part of the video is regarding the defense and attack strategy, right, which is time tested, and this will help you score more by prioritizing on a few chapters. So what are the chapters that you need to prioritize before you at the time when you are revising the day before your exam? And number three is regarding the time management part, and this segment is more to do with what you need to be doing inside the exam hall. There are certain things that you need to be very smart at, and what are they? So that is what we are going to be seeing in the third segment of this particular video. So now let's get started. Now first, guys, as you all know, paper 6 is financial management and strategic management. So paper 6A, the part A of this paper 6 is for your financial management component, right? So now it carries a weightage of 50 marks. However, the FM component gets printed for 62 marks. Now this FM component itself has two parts in it. Part 1 is your case study based MCQ, which carries a weightage of 15 marks, and part 2 is your descriptive questions, wherein you need to take your pen out and solve the questions. And of course, there are also some theory component here. So yes, limited theory is there. So that carries a weightage of 35 marks. Now this part 1, which is case study based MCQs, basically you will be finding four questions, four broad questions. In that, question number 1 is called as a case study, comprehensive case study based MCQ, wherein they will give you one big passage, kind of a big question, a case study will be given. From that common data, 5 MCQs will be given, each carrying 2 marks. Are you clear with this? The first question carries a weightage of 10 marks, right? Now question number 2, 3 and 4 are single case study MCQs. They are independent MCQs. So from a data, one MCQ will be asked. From another data, another MCQ will be asked. And from the fourth question also, there is another independent MCQ. But remember, this question number 4 carries only 1 mark. It's a 1 mark MCQ, and all the other MCQs are for 2 marks each. So basically, your MCQ component is for 15 marks, right? Out of which there is 1 MCQ for 1 mark, and you will be having 7 MCQs for 2 marks each. 7 breakup is, in question number 1, there are 5 interconnected MCQs coming from a single case study, and you have 2 independent 2 mark MCQs and 1 independent 1 mark MCQ. Clear for this, guys? And based on the 2 mock test papers that have come, this independent MCQ generally comes from, this 1 mark MCQ generally comes from the 2 theory chapters. The 2 theory chapters are scope and objectives of financial management, and you have the types of financing, right? From that only they are generally testing. For example, what do you mean by a public deposit? What is the time limit for holding a public deposit, and so on? Clear? I remember seeing a similar sum there. So a similar MCQ there. So basically, my gut feel, what I observed was, this particular question number 4 in your segment 1, carrying a 1 mark weightage in the MCQ component, generally comes from a core theory concept, theory chapter. Clear with this, guys, right? Now moving on to the part 2, which is descriptive question. Now in part 2, question number 1 is compulsory, right? And out of the remaining 4 questions, you need to attempt 2 questions. I'm sorry. So there is a total of 4 questions, right? So there is question number 1, which is compulsory. Out of the remaining 3, you need to attempt 2 questions. Clear with this, guys? Question number 1 has 3 sub questions inside it, 3 independent questions, but each carrying 5 marks. But remember, each of these 3 questions coming in question number 1 are generally tested from different chapters. Are you clear with this, guys? Are you clear with this? This is how all these things are based on the mock test paper, 2 series of mock test paper that got released. Based on that only, I'm just explaining the pattern because, as you all know, this is the first time ever, we all are, we all are sitting for this new attempt. I mean, the exam under the new scheme, right? So obviously, we don't have a precedent or a past exam paper, the pattern of which can be relied upon for your upcoming exam. So we are strictly going based on the MTP, the 2 series of official mock test papers released by the institute. Clear with this, guys? So question number 1 in the descriptive pattern is having 3 questions, each carrying 5 marks, and each of these 3 questions will be coming in from different chapters. Are you clear with this, guys? And the most important part is this question number 1 is compulsory. You can't leave it in choice. Now, question number 2 and question number 3, 10 mark each, right? And these 2 questions are fully numerical problems, right? So how will it come? It could be 8 plus 2, or it could be 4 plus 6, or it could even be 5 plus 5. The breakup of this 10 mark, I'm saying, it could be anything. And if you see in the MCQ, in the mock test paper that just got released for your May 2024 exams, now what they have done is this 8 plus 2, when it comes, this 8 mark will be one full-fledged numerical problem. This 2 mark will be a practical theory from that chapter from which they are testing the numerical problem. For example, they had tested one 8 mark question from investment decisions in the mock test paper, I'm saying. Then this 2 mark was a practical theory. Practical theory means generally it will not come from the core theory chapters. So if you know the concept, you can handle something like that. Clear with this? You need not separately prepare for it. That is the meaning. They had asked for a question. So what do you mean by a cutoff rate? Basically your discount rate, right? The VAT component is what they had asked for, something related to the investment decision chapter, right? So I wouldn't call this a proper theory. That's why I said it's a practical theory. You can put it in your own language and you can write it. Clear with this, guys? Now, question number 4 is a core theory question. The breakup of this is 4 marks plus 4 marks plus 2 or 2, meaning what? In this 4th question, the last segment, the 4C component, is generally a 2 mark theory question where you will be having an internal choice. Are you clear with this, guys? Right? And based on what I observed from the mock test paper, this 4 marks and this 4 marks generally comes from the 2 core theory chapters, that is scope and objectives of financial management, and the second chapter, which is going to be your types of financing. And this 2 mark again could be a practical theory. You need not have prepared for it. Maybe if you know the concepts, whatever we have discussed, right, automatically you would be in a position to write it. That is how generally this theory question is being framed. Are you clear with this, guys? Right? So here, that is what it is. Question number 1 is compulsory, and attempt any 2 questions out of the remaining 3 questions. This is the writing on the wall. This is what the institute is expecting you to do. Now, guys, that's about the exam pattern, the paper pattern. Now, moving on to, sir, what are all the core chapters that I need to prioritize that should be on my priority list? First, I need to start these chapters, and only then, I need to move on to the remaining chapters. So I call this as the defense plus attack strategy. Now guys, if you see, obviously it goes without saying, you should have a core understanding of this chapter called as time value of money, because I've told you many times, time value of money is a chapter. This chapter is like oxygen. You can't see it, but its presence is felt throughout the subject. So you can't prepare for it as a separate chapter. But yes, without knowing this chapter, you can't even enter into the subject of financial management. Now, this chapter is not a chapter as per the institute study material, right? And institute assumes that you know this chapter because of a simple reason that it is already being there in your CA foundation syllabus. But anyways, spend half an hour, just quickly go through whatever we have seen in terms of the logics behind your future value, present value, and all of that. Now, once you are, strengthening with that, automatically it will help you to move on to the core chapters. The core chapters for your financial management component. Guys, once again, I'm saying I'm just talking about paper 6A, financial management, because now you also need to spend this one day before your exam. You just don't have the financial management component. You also have the strategic management component. So for that also, you need to plan your time. Keeping that in mind only, I am coming up with this strategy the day before your exam. Now, these 4 chapters are a must. Never miss this. Your cost of capital, leverages, capital structure theories, and investment decisions. These four are core chapters for sure. You should never miss this. Finish every single concept in this. Now guys, this is where your library of adjustments will come into picture. It is going to be your life savior if you have attended the regular batch, right? At the end of every question, I would have asked you to write down the library of adjustments. Trust me, this will help you cover this entire thing in a span of just 4 hours, 1 hour per chapter. Let us keep on an average. It will not be exactly 1 hour because investment decisions is slightly a bigger area, while leverages is slightly a smaller area. It gets offset. 4 hours, these 4 core chapters, you're done with it. You're done with it. Are you clear with this, guys? Right? Now, if you do this along with, now here comes the interesting part. Now, I actually released a video 2 months back regarding your preparation strategy, 2 months before your exam and all. Now, I didn't mention it back then. Right now, between then and now, all this MCQ, I mean your mock test paper series have been released. Now, I'm telling you, this I didn't even say in costing, but in FM, I'm telling you, please prepare the 2 theory chapters. Trust me, guys, it's very easy to prepare for these 2 theory chapters. Your scope and objectives of financial management and types of financing. Clear with this? Sir, should I read line by line with the study material? No. What you can do is, I have anyways given you guys a practice manual, right? You can just download that. There, what have I done? I have readily given it to you in a question and answer format. These are based on the past exam and RTP questions. Just go through it once. In my opinion, these 2 chapters put together will not take about 1.5 hours maximum. Now, this will give you about 8 marks in your theory component. I told you, no, this 4 plus 4, generally it comes from this area. Now, 2 questions. Basically, if you prepare it in a question and answer format, there would be, I think, about easily 20-25 questions or 30 questions max, right? Out of this, the chances of 2 questions coming is relatively higher. I'm not saying only from this it will come, but the chances of being tested from this area is relatively higher. So you study it in a question and answer format, 8 out of 50 marks is sorted for you. Are you clear with this, guys? This is a very, very smart move for FM. I didn't even tell this in costing, but in FM, I feel this is the case because, let me tell you the reason why I'm telling you this. The reason why I'm telling you this is, FM component is itself for 50 marks, right? And out of this 50 mark, they are dedicating one particular question for theory chapter, right? Theory. So which means out of the remaining component only, they need to test many chapters. Clear with this? Now, definitely they won't miss out on these 4 chapters for sure. This is what I feel based on the past trends and based on the pattern of a mock test papers and all that. But they could also squeeze in 1 or 2 questions from chapters like dividend decisions and ratio analysis, which is not on our priority list. Now, in that case, you might feel, so out of 50 mark component, 1 4 mark or 1 5 mark question, I'm missing out on that. That can easily be compensated with a lesser effort by preparing for this theory chapters. Are you clear with this, guys? That is the strategy. So I would always suggest you guys to be prepared for these 2 theory chapters in FM and try to attempt it. Are you clear with this, guys? And apart from this, what you need to do is definitely attempt this particular May 2024 attempts. Take up your RTP and both the mock test papers. These 3 definitely entirely you do, which means even cover the chapters which I have not mentioned here. Do that also if they are there in the RTP and MTP for sure. Clear for this, guys? If you do this, now in my opinion, you will be easily ready. Conservatively, you will be ready for about 40 marks of FM component alone. I'm saying you will be prepared for 40 marks. Now in your SM component, now can't you take another 20-25 marks? Your exemption is guaranteed in this paper. You need not touch this paper again for a lifetime. Clear with this, guys? It is that simple. Now, sir, only these chapters I need to prepare. That's not what I'm saying. Prioritize, first finish these chapters, right? And then if you still have time, what I would suggest is, now you just take up the other 2 chapters, that is ratio analysis and your dividend decisions, right? If you still have time, do it in this order. First, you do ratio analysis. After finishing all this, ratio analysis, dividend decisions, and then you do working capital management, because definitely working capital management will be tested. I'm telling you, for sure it will be tested. So that's why I'm not asking you to omit anything. Prioritize at the end, because if you start your preparation with working capital management, what happens is the chapter is very huge. Now for putting that much amount of efforts, you getting tested a single question, the effort is not worth the weightage. That is what I am saying. So first you prioritize on those chapter where you can spend lesser time and get more marks, right? And then move on to those chapters which takes slightly a more time. Are you clear with this, guys? Even in this working capital management chapter, it has multiple units. Try to cover first, you finish that introduction unit. Introduction unit is not theory. Basically what I meant by this is that working capital cycle is there, no, right? Definitely try to cover it. If you are if you are entering into working capital management, if you have the time, please first definitely complete this working capital cycle. If you have the extra time and you are entering into this chapter, don't go into the others. First you do the working capital cycle and then you move on to the others. Clear with this, guys? If you do it this way, now trust me guys, trust me, what happens is out of just 50 marks of your FM component, 40 marks is sorted in this area itself. Apart from that, if you have the time, you can prepare for this. Now overall doing all these core areas, I'm just saying whatever is there in the box, right? It shouldn't take you more than 6 to 7 hours max. 6 to 7 hours max. Are you clear with this? Now whatever is the remaining time, you go do your SM component, and if you still have time, then you cover these 3 areas. Are you clear with this? This way if you do, now guys, what happens here is, I call this as a defense and attack strategy, because scoring a rank or scoring really high marks in CA exams are challenging. They are difficult. I'm telling you, yes, it is right. But I'm telling you, it is also difficult to fail in CA exams. Or in other words, passing in CA exams is relatively easier. The problem is not with the syllabus, it is with our approach to the syllabus. Right now, I'm telling you, just covered this, you are sorted for about 35 to 40 marks just in the FM component. Right? Now, there is one more 50 marks component, which is part B, which is going to be your strategic management component. Can't you score some 20-25 marks there? Now, what happens here is, now don't think that, no, sir, how do I score 80 or how do I score 70 or how do I get an exemption? First, plan for the first 40 marks. How am I going to get there? Now, once this 40 marks are over, now you know that yes, you are sorted. Yes, now whatever you do, plan for the next 20 marks. Now, once you get 20 marks, exemption is guaranteed. You need not touch this paper again for a lifetime. And now whatever you score from now on is going to be a bonus for you. Now, guys, this is what even top cricketers. I draw the analogy of cricket because I follow cricket a lot. So what you do is, just imagine Sachin Tendulkar is actually, he's batting and his score is about 90 or 95. Now he's about to score a century. He will not take the risk of, hitting a boundary and all that. He will try to defend his wicket. He will try to score singles or doubles. Make sure that he crosses that 100 mark. The moment he scores a century, now he has got what he has achieved, right? Now, tremendous confidence will be generated, and automatically now he'll swing his bat for a 6 or a 4. Right? Because even now if he gets out, it's not a problem because he's got what he wanted. Similar is the strategy that you need to follow in your exams. The first 40 marks, don't just immediately jump to 60 or 80. How do I score? No, you will get there. Don't worry. First, think about the first 40 marks. The moment you finish 40 marks, now to some level you get the peace of mind. Anyways, I will not fail. Now focus on the next 20 marks. The moment you cross that also, now brilliant confidence, extreme level of confidence will be generated. Now you feel that yes, I need not touch this paper again for a lifetime. Now whatever I get is a bonus for me. You will start writing, and trust me, overall it will contribute to somewhere around 70s and 80s for sure. Guys, this is the way to crack exams, especially professional exams. It will definitely help you. It is time tested. Personally, it has helped me as well in my intermediate and in my final, and it has also helped many students who have followed the strategy. Clear with this, guys, right? So that is about your defense plus attack strategy. Now moving on to the last segment of this particular video, which is the time management. Now you guys know that the first 15 minutes, 1:45 to 2 is your reading time, and 2 to 5 is your the time to execute, that is the time to write, including your MCQ as well as the descriptive portion, right? So now you have 3 hours for both FM as well as for SM. So 3 hours is 180 minutes. Now let's reduce 10 minutes from this, because they will ask you to sign your the hall ticket and all these things, the barcode, you need to stick all these things and all, because of the procedures that institute has. So let's reduce time minutes, because 10 minutes, because this 10 minutes will be taken away. I'm just taking 10 minutes as a very maximum time limit that I'm saying. That includes your concentration lapse and all that. So 10 minutes buffer I'm just keeping, because this generally they ask you for the signing and all that during your writing time only. So you are left with 170 minutes. In this 170 minutes, you need to attempt for a maximum of 100 marks, right? Which means per mark you are having how many minutes? 1.7 minutes. Always have this in your mind, which means for a 2-mark question you can take 3.4 minutes, for a 4-mark question you can take 6.8 minutes, or for a 10-mark question you can take how much? 17 minutes in total. Are you clear with this? Just have this in your mind. Just have this in your mind. The reason is suppose a particular question is lengthy. Now what you can do is, let's say capital budgeting, that tea coffee sum that we saw in our lectures, right? If that sum comes in, that's fairly, it's fairly an easy sum in terms of understanding, but in terms of execution you need to have a lot of tabular columns and all that. It's time consuming. Now maybe let's say they are asking that question for 10 marks. What will happen is, instead of 17 minutes you might end up taking 22 minutes, which means you've taken 5 minutes extra. Make sure that this 5 minutes extra that you've taken here is compensated in a different question, which is relatively lesser time consuming. This is what I'm saying. You need not stick on to this timer. You just need not keep on looking at the clock, because that itself is a waste of time. Every time you look at the clock, that itself is a waste of time. It's a mental calculation. Just to give you an idea, this is what I'm saying. That's number one. Number two, sir, whether should I write FM or should I write SM first? Absolutely your choice. But if you ask me personally, it's my personal choice, right? You can write anything you want first, but my personal choice is I would prefer writing FM first. Reason is it is computation driven, and you can plan your time ahead. Suppose you feel somewhere it's dragging. Now what you can do is, maybe based on this you can plan your remaining time in your SM, because time management is more critical in a numerical paper. I'm not undermining all the the descriptive papers that involves a lot of writing, that is theory paper as we call it. No, I'm not undermining that, but relatively in a descriptive paper it is slightly higher, because by reading you cannot judge. Reading a question you cannot judge how much time it takes. At the time when you're solving, maybe you might realize that it's more time consuming because of its calculation things. That's the reason why I'm saying, maybe if you first take up FM, then you can go on with your your SM. Are you clear with this? And FM carries 50 marks, so 50 into 1.7, you have the timer. So you are allowed to take a maximum of 85 minutes, and 85 minutes means what? 1 hour and 25 minutes, right? So that's almost 1.5 hours. So if you are starting with FM first at, let's say, 2 p.m, right, max try to wind up FM by 3:30 p.m, right? If not maximum by 3:35, 3:40. I would not recommend that, but still max by that. Beyond that, sir, I'm still not done with FM, please drop it there, go to SM. That's what I would suggest. Clear with this, guys? So have this in your mind. This way, if you do it, it will definitely be able to help you score the maximum out of the limited time available. Are you clear with this, guys? Right? So this is what I wanted to share with you all. Most importantly, more than all your preparation, make sure that you have a huge level of self-confidence. Now guys, you guys have prepared so long. You've been preparing for the last few months. Now, if not for you, who will pass the exam, right? Have the self-confidence, and I'm just showing it in front of you. A few chapters and you sort it. That's about it, right? Have the confidence there. Have the confidence, and halfway, if you have this level of confidence, half the exam you are already through, even before you enter the exam hall. Most of the students, they don't fail in the exam hall. They fail before they even enter into the exam hall, because they might be fully prepared. But the problem is with respect to the confidence level that they have got. Guys, this is all it is. Prioritize like this. I am telling you, you will absolutely love the process of writing the exam itself. Are you clear with this? Don't have fear. Just go. You are there on a mission. Just go and finish it off. And this is going to be your last paper as well. So work hard right now. and party harder later. Clear with this, guys? Fine. So that's it from my side for today, guys. All the very best, and I will see you all in CA final. Thank you all so much. Bye bye.